All right, it's been a minute since we've posted a video about Project Ghia, but for good reason. We've left Colorado, we've got a much bigger location to work out of, a little more room for Kane, plenty of parts, tons of inspiration on the walls. And with winter quickly approaching us here in New Mexico, I hope that you'll join me for a second lockdown with Project Ghia. So the last time we hung out, we were rocking this rocker section, which then became the heater channels, which then became a door pillar, and now we find all kinds of rot and rust behind the door pillar, up in this left front section of the car. So the rockers that we were gonna do first is now gonna have to be last as we attack all that rot and rust that's underneath it. So now we're gonna start out with something I should have done first, which is brace this door. So my original plan was, or thought, is that we still have the pan attached to the front, the back, and the side, and it's a sedan, not a convertible, so there really shouldn't be that much flex with the body because the heater channel and rockers are removed. But better safe than sorry. Okay, so the door is closed and my lines are pretty even here. Like the gap between the door and the fenders is looking pretty even, so that should be pretty straight. Next, nothing's bolted here on the pan. There's gonna be a lot of flex going on once I hop inside the car and try to weld that angle iron in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use a 2x4, the jack, and we're gonna jack that up to brace the pan to hold all my weight while I'm inside. So this should be pretty simple. We're just gonna take this angle iron here and I'm gonna tack weld it to either side of that door just to give the body a little bit more support. Then we're probably gonna start unbolting the body from the pan and then lift that body up just a little bit higher so that we can get to some of that rust that's underneath the car. Now for this side of the car, I still wanna stick to the body being on the pan to repair this rocker section just to see if we can do it. But now that we're at this bigger garage, we can definitely separate the whole body from the pan, and we're gonna repair the right section of the car with the body off of the pan, which a little bit more work, but should be a lot easier in the end. Now we can get this door removed. All right, we are braced up, so we're gonna make a little more room up front here so we can attack this left front corner. I'm gonna remove this tire. Then I'm gonna come up here and cut the fender a little bit higher so we can see exactly what's happening underneath here. The amount of rust that's on this door pillar section goes up pretty high. So cutting that fender a little more is gonna be necessary. I've got this outer skin which goes up pretty high, so we should be okay with cutting a little bit more. So we'll just start dissecting it layer by layer until I have something that I can work with. Major issues up here in this left front corner, and what's really tough is I can't even tell what's what or how it's supposed to be. Let's start by removing this bracket right here. Then we'll cut off this section here, salvaging what we can, or at least cutting it as clean as we can. That way, if I need to make something, at least I have somewhat of a template to go off of. All right, we're 3 or 4 layers deep, and I'm finally starting to see where this door pillar section goes, which is great. The problem is the sections behind that, there's really nothing there, and that's a bit sketchy. It also looks like I have a lot of issues here at the rear inner fender well, and that's something we'll have to take a look at too. After taking a closer look, I think I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt the body, and then we're just gonna lift the driver's side up as much as we can to get a view from underneath. Okay, pan's unbolted for the most part, I think. I got all the bolts. Now we're gonna get on this steering wheel, get that out of the way, and we'll see if we can't lift this up a few inches to get underneath of that heater channel. Okay, I'm gonna get the steering wheel out of the way. I've got it loose already at the coupler down below, and looks like 2 14mm bolts holding the column up. Let's hit these and see what happens. With the tank removed, we can finally get to the last 2 bolts here and hopefully get this body lifted a little bit. Okay, now just to keep the body off of the pan, I'm gonna go ahead and support it with some wood between the body and the pan. Okay, we got about as much access as we can get without pulling the body all the way off the pan, which is exactly what I'm planning to do when I get to the rocker section on the right side of the car. With the body up a few inches, now that I can see underneath it, it's a little bit better than expected, but still pretty bad. So stick with me, because in the next video, we're gonna chop out all of that rust and then hopefully put this thing back together.